Okay, good morning everyone. So in the last tutorial, I think we have almost finished the major body of this female character, including the face, the arm, and also the leg. For this time, I want to deal with the detail of the foot. But unfortunately, due to the limitation of the number of faces, so we cannot split and also separate the toes and also the finger. But still, we can try to get the overall shape of these two parts and make them look like more realistic. So let's get started. First things, I'd like to deal with the foot. Let's go to the side view. I just import the reference image and you can find your own reference image as well. For this one, I need this one for making the tutorial. Okay, so first things, let's take a look about the shape of the foot. For now, it looks okay, but this part obviously looks pretty weird. I mean, on the base of the foot looks pretty weird. So we have to use in the move tool, the grab tool or move tool to change the shape. Let's enlarge this one. Don't forget to turn on your symmetry items, okay? Okay. And also, because Blender can only see and only edit the things you have seen. So we have to go to the other side and take a look. Alright, so now it looks okay. And this one basically is the inner part of the foot. So let's take a look. An inner part, it will bend it more compared to the outer part. The outer part will be a little bit flattened. So it's supposed to be like this. This part will be flattened based on our observation. And this part is supposed to go up a little bit. Okay, so now it looks better than before. The next thing is, so we can strengthen a little bit about this area. And make this border more clear. Okay, so now it looks fine. So next part about the toys, the big toys. I like to use the crease tool to draw the frame out first. So this is the big toys. Right now, I didn't use in the Dyntapo, so I only use in the face, the number, the vertex, and the rest of the face I already have. Okay, the second one. So as far as I can see, it's not that easy to separate them, but we still can make the shape out. We can still use in the crease tool or probably the move tool to create the shape of the toys. Increase the power first. Okay, the last one. Okay, now let's start to use the move tool, the grab tool to change the shape. And this part has to be flattened. Okay, cool. And now let's start to deal with the shape of the big toys. Okay, so far it looks okay, but not that realistic. Okay, for that part, for this kind of little, the detail like this, here, I'd like to use increase tool to do that. So let's try to do that. Let's smooth everything first. And let's use increase tool. Move tool again. And for that part, it has to be a little bit looks like a circular or something. Okay, better than before, but not exactly right. Let's go to the front view. Alright, so now you can see what happens here. Okay, let's use increase tool to cut this area. Okay. Let's using grab tool again to bend in the little toys. Okay, looks better than before, but still a little bit too unflattened. But right now I don't have more faces. If I need to do that, I have to use Indine and Topo to increase the number of the face. And for that part, I think it's really up to you. You, you actually, I want to stop right here. So I will only deal with the detail of the toes. For the rest of the part, I will just leave them like that. Just decrease the power of the crease tool and create a little crease, little gap right here. And for the snail part, I think it's really not necessary to do that. But if you do so, for sure it will be an additional bonus for your semester grade. This part has to be more smooth, so I using field brush to refine and also polish this area. Okay, pretty much now. But this part, I think it has to be flattened a little bit. And also here, obviously the big toy looks a little bit, the shape still looks a little weird. If you do want to make this part more realistic and also don't spend so much time to slightly move and refine that, I would suggest you using the primitive and polygon way to refine that. It will be way more faster compared to the things we are working on now. This part doesn't have to be that big at all. Okay, let's using smooth tool to refine this area, and I will stop right here. Oh, okay. Also here, I think it's still a little bit weird. Okay, so due to the limitation of the faces, so I think the best that I can do is write just like this. But as far as you can see, at least right now you can see that this is the rough shape of the food. We have five toys, and also the different part looks pretty okay. Probably these parts are a little bit too sharp, so let's try to use in the move tool to refine that. Okay, just like this. So I will stop right here. The next things we are going to deal with is about the hand. Okay, so for the hand part, the most important things will be about the thumb. So let's go to the sculpting mode, and I would directly turn on the line toggle to refine this area. First things, I'd like to use the fill tool to enlarge the size of the thumb. Okay, to enlarge the size of the thumb. And right here, the connection between your thumb and the arm, there is supposed to be a connection like this. So let's try to enrich this area. Alright, and also on the back side, we also have that. Okay. Let's try to using grab tool to refine this area. And also using a smooth tool, but still keep the shape of this one. Okay, so it looks better. Alright, so once we have that, the next things I'd like to do is to change the shape of here, of this area. Right now it looks okay, but this part is supposed to be a little bit flattened and also has to decline a little bit, connect to forward part. And let's using the smooth tool to smooth the joint between them, so it will look more better than before. And it's using the fill tools. We enrich the mass here. This part has to be bigger, but this part can be a little bit smaller. Okay, something like that. So now it looks fine. Alright, let's keep moving forward. So next thing is about this area. Let's use this the crease tool to refine the shape right here. And also for this part, it has to be like this. There's supposed to be a connection between the thumb and the rest part of the arm, the rest part of the hand. Okay, just like this. Now let's using smooth tool to join them together. Okay, so now let's move them down. Alright, so next things, let's go to here and start to deal with the detail. Ah, shit, I think there's something wrong here. It's okay, let's using fill tool to fill the hole right here. I'm not so sure how this happened. Probably it's because the grab tool or something. Huh? Weird. So when I do that, this part happens. Okay. I guess that's because this part is too thin. So it becomes, if they are so close to each other, so it becomes, it makes the geometry looks pretty weird so far. Okay, it will be a problem. Probably we have to remesh the model. It's using blob and quickly enlarge the mask right here. Then we can use in the remesh tool to refine that. Okay, it's safe. Turn off the dye typo, and I'd like to use in remesh. I'm not so sure the right size of this one, but probably for this time I will using 0.05. Alright. So right now I think I hope that we can use in the smooth tool to refine this area. Okay. So now let's deal with the detail of the finger. Let's take a look. We can rotate this reference image to 90 degrees so that we can use in this one to take as a reference. The first thing, let's try to deal with the detail of the fingers. Because of the arrow that just happened, so right now the outside part of the hand still looks a little bit weird. Let's smooth everything first, and then, just like the old trick that we have used for many times, using crease tool to draw out the detail of the fingers. And for every finger, there's supposed to be an extruding point. We can use in draw brush or crease brush to do that. Okay, so once we have, let's use the move tool to refine that. And using smooth tool to smooth the end point. Okay. Now let's refine the shape of the finger. This part is a little bit hard and almost impossible to make perfect because, again, the limitation of the faces. So it is almost impossible to make this part looks perfect. Okay, let's go to the inner part. Alright, so as far as I can see, although the shape looks okay, but right now, some detail looks pretty weird. Okay, so now, again, let's use the crease tool. For now, probably you will gradually figure out that it's a little bit hard to control the right shape because in such a detailed area, the shape of your model will be restricted by the typologies. So right now, since the wireframe here, they are probably looks like a triangle shape or something. So it's a little bit hard for you to exactly control the right shape. Well, that will be the restriction for this part. But anyway, let's just try our best. After all, once we start to do the retypology, all this detail will disappear. The reason why we do this is just because we want you guys to understand the overall shape of the hand. Okay, for now it looks okay. Not perfect, but we can simply using the move tool to refine that. Okay, let's take a look. Still a little bit weird. Let's go to the side view, especially this part. Obviously, the hand is a little bit bended. So let's try to refine that. Let's enlarge the size of the brush and turn this one back to the right pose. Go to the front view to check that. Okay, it looks fairly okay. Probably not perfect, but I would say probably for now the best things we can do is just like this, because if we do want to go for the detail, we need more pieces to do that. But there is still some detail that you can try to refine, like the shape of the fingers. Right now, due to the limitation of the face, it looks pretty weird. But you can try to using a smooth tool to refine this kind of weird part. But for the overall proportion, I think there's nothing we can do. Probably that's the best that we can do so far. Okay, I will stop right here. So this is the finished model of our human. Okay, so now we are going to do the typologies, and in order to decrease the number of the face. So the things I showed to you guys before is just simply copy one more, and then we can just use in the remesh tool to do that. But if you do that, basically you will lose most of the detail. So let's try. So we can use in voxel, and the voxel size is 0.1, and choosing apply. Let's take a look about the result. So yeah, it's fairly okay, but you can see that basically it still has a lot of face, and also it doesn't have the flow of the wireframe. It's okay for using this one to make the following animation, but it's not a very good option. So let me show you how to do the typologies. So first thing, let me show you the technique first. So for the traditional way to set up the typology, it will be like this. So let's create a new mesh plane. Let's rotate this one RX90 and turn this one, making this one smaller. Move this surface to the position that you want to remake. So for example, like right here on the face. Next things, we can turn on the snap tools and choosing the vertex as the stake target. So now let's start to edit. So first thing, we have to make this one snap to the target, snap to the ground, snap to the face, and also make sure it can follow the flow of the face. Then press extrude for extruding. If you want, you can turn on the X-ray mode, so it will be easier for you to refine the model. Okay, so. Alright, let's turn off that. It's not good. Alright, so let's choosing the face again. Press E for extruding. E for extruding, just keep extruding. And make sure it can it follow the surface of your sculpting model. And also we have to take care of the typology things. So that will be the idea about the traditional way for refine the model. But it takes too many time to do that. And also if you are a freshman, probably it will be very, very hard for you to do that. It's not a very good solution for now. The second way that we can do with typology is using the default plugin inside Blender. We can just go to Edit, Preferences, and go to Get Extension, choosing B Surface GPL Additions. And let's go to Add-on, make sure it has been turned on. Once you turn on this one, we can find the control panel on the right side panel here. So go to Edit, and you can see that it show up right here. Let's try to use this one, okay? So first thing is we have to go the mesh of the BS surface and choosing the target sculpting. And also we can choosing display wire. And next part, let's choosing initialize. And you can also choosing add mirror and other modifier, but right now I think we can do that later. Let's just choosing edge surface, and it will turn your selection tool to the annotation tools. So now we can start to draw. So for this part, I will just draw something like this. This is the flow of the wireframe, so we have to control that carefully. Okay, so once you finish, let's just choosing add surface. Okay, it show up in the inner part, but probably not a perfect one. There is still something error here, like the border part looks a little bit weird. But at least it's a way more faster way to deal with the typology. And I was choosing P selection to separate the model. Okay, so you can see that although there's some error here on the backside, but at least, probably let me delete the error part, okay? So here, face. So, but you can see that the geometry looks way more better compared to the manual way because it perfectly fits your model. So for that part, well, I think it is okay to use this one to do the typologies. You can just press we can just simply press Ctrl 1 and take a look. This one looks pretty nice, alright? So that's the second way, the inside Blender, default Blender we can use for making the typologies. The third way is that we can find some free add-on to help us. Let's take a look.